Hello, beautiful. How are you this wonderful morning? Right now, it's actually not raining. It's not overly hot here in Orlando. So it's a good morning. I hope that you're having a good one too. This is the Thursday Talk with me, Suzanna Kaye, professional organizer, where we just chat about whatever organizing concept, mental thing, anything having to do with organizing and productivity and making your life simpler. So that is our goal every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm glad that you can join me. So with these talks, I don't really plan out a specific topic or content. We just kind of go along with it. So if there's anything that you want to talk about, please in the comments, share your thoughts. I'll share my thoughts. I'm going to just talk about my day and talk about organizing mental concepts. But also, as you hop on, let me know who you are and where you're joining me from. I always love to hear that too. So one of my thoughts, I always have these crazy thoughts when I'm getting ready. So in the shower or usually when I don't have anything near me like paper or pencil. And then I have these thoughts where all of a sudden it's kind of like an aha moment or a great example of something that I'm always talking about. And this morning it happened when I was thinking about shaving my legs. So that's where we're going today. Talk about shaving my legs. But this morning, as I was getting ready, I was thinking I need to shave my legs, as many of us often do. And I don't do the whole shaving your legs in the shower thing. Probably way too much information for you, but I don't do the shaving my legs in the shower thing. I have one of those like epilady type of machines where it kind of pulls the hairs out, which the first time you do it, it's like horrible. And then after that, it's actually rather comforting and nice and it lasts longer and all that stuff. So when it's time for me to shave my legs, it's not an everyday thing because it takes longer between shaves. And it's not something I have to do while I'm in the shower, because it plugs in. So it's a bad idea to do it in the shower. So I usually have to try to remember to shave my legs later. And I had one of those mornings where, when there's constantly something that you're doing and there's always like a list of 10 more things that you need to do after you do the thing that you're doing. So my brain was all over the place and I had all of these things going on. I did not want to forget, later I need to shave my legs. So I was thinking I need to pull out the razor and put it on the bathroom counter so I could see it so I don't forget it, because I'm an out of sight, out of mind person. That's probably an understatement. I'm like out of sight, no longer exists in this world person. So without a visual cue, I don't remember to do a lot of things. But then I was able to take a moment and listen to myself and the things that I teach. And I was thinking, I don't need to take the razor out and put it on the counter so I remember to shave my legs. If my legs are bothering me later, when I have time to shave my legs, then I will go and pull out the razor. I've got a cue on my body. If it really does need to be done, I will remember it again. So that's one of those things where I think a lot of us do that, where we leave things out for ourselves in order to remember to do something. But if that task really is important enough, we will get another reminder. We will see that, oh yeah, that's right. The light bulb is out. I don't need to leave a light bulb on the counter to remember to change it. Next time I turn on the light, I'll say, oh yeah, the light bulb is out. Maybe right now I should go change it if I have time. And we will get those reminders. We don't always have to make it a visual reminder, which just adds clutter around us and stresses us out because we look around and we see all the things that we thought that we needed to do that we don't have time to do right then. And visually, there's just more and more and more clutter. Hey, Mary, so good to see you. Hi, beautiful. As you hop on, let me know who you are and where you're joining me from. I always love to see those beautiful faces. Good to see you, Mary. But yeah, so if you're an out of sight, out of mind person who likes those visual cues for the things that need to be done, really think about, is this a task that I really need to leave the visual cue out for? Because that visual is just going to add more clutter. It's going to stress you out more because when you look around, you're going to be seeing all of these different things that need to be done. And your brain can't just relax and can't just enjoy being in your space. It's always surrounded by stuff to do and shoulds. You know, my least favorite word in the English language is should. So think about, does that visual cue really need to be laying out? Or will that task remind you again? If it's important enough, it will come back up. You will think of it again. I will remember later to shave my legs, because when I look at my legs, I will notice, like, yes, I will get that cue again. I will remember, I realized this morning that I was running low on like my lip gloss that I really love. That's great. It's not going to kill me if I completely run out of it before I get more. So I don't need to leave the lip gloss out on the counter so that I remember to order more. I will remember, like, next time I go to put on lip gloss, or maybe I will remember as I'm wandering around through my day, when I hop on Amazon, I'll think, oh yeah, there's that lip gloss that I need to add too. But that reminder will come back up either the next time I use lip gloss, or, you know, randomly, or worst case scenario, if I ran out of lip gloss, I can order it then. It's not going to kill me to not have it. So the consequences of not having that aren't that high. Hey, RJ from Ohio. Mary's from Tampa, and good to listen, or good to have you here, Sylvia. I was gonna say good to listen to you too, but I can't hear you. I can see you though, and I love your comment. Hey, Darlene, good to see you again too. I love it. As you hop on, let me know who you are, where you're joining me from, and if you can relate to any of these things. If you're one of those out of sight, out of mind people who are constantly leaving cues everywhere or setting reminders for yourself, give me some love on the video, or a thumbs up, and let me know that you can relate, because I know this is one of the things that I can get really bad about, especially when I feel like I've got so much going on and my brain is trying to hold on to so many things to do that it makes it really, really, really hard to be able to let go of some things and really analyze them to see if they're truly important enough to need a visual cue or a reminder. Yeah, Darlene says, me. I hear ya. Janice from New Jersey's in the house. Hey, good to see ya. Rita from Pennsylvania. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, I see that there's a bunch of thumbs ups and loves and all that. So I'm not alone with being the out of sight, out of mind person. And a lot of times setting reminders on your phone is helpful, but there's a point where there's too many of those too, right? So if you're getting like a ton of reminders each day, then you start to ignore your reminders because there are just too many. Or if your to-do list is really long, then you start to ignore a lot of what's on there because it's just overwhelming. There's too much to do. So there are some things where we can really start to analyze, how important is this? Do I have the bandwidth to really focus on it and be able to get this done in the near future? Or can I just let this go and trust that I will notice it again one day if it truly needs to be done? And if I don't notice it, it probably does not even need to be done. You know, if I did not notice my lip gloss was running out, probably doesn't need to be done. If I didn't notice that my legs needed to be shaved, they probably aren't that bad. And worst case scenario, my husband will tell me if it got that bad and I didn't notice, but I don't think it ever gets that bad. Hey, Sue. And yeah, Darlene says, yes. She says, that is what's happening to me. Yes, too many things that we're trying to hold on to in our brains, right? So be really selective about what you even let get onto your mental to-do list, and be willing to let go of some of those things from keeping track of them in your head, because those reminders will come back. So you don't need to keep track of some things, but we feel like we always need to be, 20 steps ahead. And we don't. We just need to be good enough. So if the light bulb burns out and you don't get it changed that day, that's okay. You get it changed when it bothers you enough, and that is good enough. The world won't end. RJ says that she's gone to Post-it notes on the bathroom mirror, less sitting around. Yes, so notes on the mirror, using the reminder app on your phone, as long as it's a reasonable number, then that's absolutely perfect. And yes, it's so nice not to have the actual things sitting around, right? Another thing that will help this is having one place for a lot of these routine items, whether it's a cleaning checklist or your projects, a list of your projects. Checklists are amazing for being able to let go of some of these recurring items. Like, if I wanted to have on my checklist for the week, shave my legs, I could have a weekly checklist of all the things that I do during the week, and shave my legs could be on there, so I don't have to mentally try to remember it. Karen says, yes, good enough is good. It absolutely is. Good enough is better than perfect, because you did not waste all that time on the perfect side trying to make it perfect. But if you do have these lists, and I think it's still in the store. It might be coming out of the store within the next few days, possibly the notes and ideas workshop. I can share the store link, but on my website, there's there you go, SuzannaKaye.com. If you go to the store on the website, then you'll see there's a workshop that's probably still there on using a regular notebook to capture all of your notes, ideas, and lists. And that type of style where you have everything in one place that you can reuse and right where to look for it is such a relief. And that lets you kind of clear out the hard drive of your brain. Like, your brain's kind of like a computer. There's only so much it can store in your active memory at one time. When it gets full, it starts to drop things off or, overheat. So whatever we can take out of our mental hard drive and put on paper is going to make you relax more and not worry about missing the big things. So if you have something like a deep cleaning list or a home maintenance list, then you could put these lists in something like one of the notebooks, like I talked about in the workshop, or if you have the Spark Life Binder, the resources tab is a great place to have something like your yearly deep cleaning list or your annual home maintenance tasks list, things like that. You can have weekly lists if you wanted to for the things that you want to remember to do at least once a week. Shaving your legs could be on it. Who knows? Whatever you want to make sure that you don't forget, that's a recurring task. And then this way you can reuse that list over and over, but you aren't trying to remember to get these things done. And if you have one place for them, that's the big thing. A lot of times we create these lists and they wander, or you've got part of a list here, part of a list here, and it just becomes a hot mess. Let me know in the comments if you ever do that or how you keep your lists. But if you can combine all of your lists into one place, whether it's one notebook of your lists or the Spark Life Binder resources section for all of those annual or ongoing, important lists. Maybe it's a phone app. Like for me on my phone, I use an app called Clear, CLEAR. And that's basically it's an app that's just a bunch of different lists. You have a number of apps that are good for it, like Google Keep and things like that. But all of your lists can be in one place. So that way, at least you know where to go back to. I know for me, a lot of times I do like the physical lists. So my notebooks with my recurring lists, or like a 3-ring binder with recurring lists, is really helpful, because then I can just physically see it and it's not out of sight, out of mind. I can have it right there and see what needs to be done still. Karen says that she loves her Spark Life Binder. Yay! Yeah, that Spark Life Binder, I know that was a lifesaver for me. And I don't know how I would manage to store all of my important information and things like my home maintenance checklists and all of the important documents and data that I need for our lives without the Spark Life Binder. I don't think I could do it. So that's why I created it. I created it for me and then shared it with my clients and then shared it with everybody else. So I'm so glad that you love it. Yay. But yes, let me know in the comments how you keep your lists. Do you use lists all the time? Do you keep them digital? Do you have written lists? Are they all in one place? Are they all scattered around the house? What do you do as far as lists? Because I always love to know. Even if you're watching on the replay, I would still love to hear that later on. But yeah, so that was my thought for today. Keeping everything in one place or having one consistent place for these types of recurring items or reminders is really helpful. So if you're using an action file, for example, instead of having, reminders floating around the house, leg raisers and light bulbs and all of that, you could just write yourself a little note and tuck it into the to-do file folder in your action file. That's a great way to give yourself a reminder. You can write it on whatever you want, even those if you're the type that just grabs like a spare used envelope or writes on just random pieces of paper, that works really well with the action file. So you can write your note on whatever random piece of paper it is, and then just tuck it in your to-do folder of your action file, and it'll be there for you later. So you won't forget later on when you're going through your to-do folder, you're like, oh yeah, I need to shave my legs. Oh yeah, I need to order more lip gloss, whatever it is. And then that way the notes aren't floating around. You aren't leaving items out. But the out of sight, out of mind, I know can be really difficult for people because I deal with it too. So I hear you, but being consistent. So consistently having the one place that you go to for certain things and getting things out of your head. So this mental hard drive that you have, getting it out of your head and onto a checklist or something. If it's a recurring task, it's so much easier. Karen says that she uses her action file to do. She checks it each morning. Yay! You're really good with that habit. I love that. I check mine probably, I'd say once or twice a week. It kind of depends on how my week is, but a lot of times I'll check it and I don't necessarily do everything that's in the to-do folder when I check it. When I go and I check my action file to-do folder, I'm just looking to see what has to be done that week. And those, a lot of times I'll pull them out and clip them to the front so that way I can visually see what's urgent for that week. But yeah, I'm not as good at routines. I wish I was like you, Karen. That would help so much. But yeah, so when I check my to-do folder, I just go through. I see what has to be done that week. Sometimes if I have extra time, I go through, then I will say, what few things can I really do quickly out of this to-do folder? So that's when I would, if I had the little note for buying more lip gloss, that's when I would go ahead and I would order my lip gloss really quick. Because I just find some random things and be like, how many of these things can I get done in 20 minutes? Lynn says that she's trying to do digital, but she also keeps paper notes when I think of something I want to remember and don't have my phone with me. Yeah. Sometimes we definitely, you don't always have your phone with you. You don't always have paper with you. So the combination of the two is a lot of times really useful. But yeah, I do love having the digital app with all of the lists. So for me, I could actually pull mine up, but on my Clear app with all my lists, I have so many lists on here, which is really nice. These are just some of my lists, but they include things like books to read or packing. I have probably about at least 5 packing lists. So I have regular packing for all my trips. I have international packing. I've got packing for if the dogs are traveling with us, packing for warm, beachy, warm weather, packing for cold weather, packing for camp out. We go to camp out once a year on Labor Day weekend up in Georgia. And it used to be when we were in our 20s, all of my friends and I would meet up and we'd actually camp. Now we don't camp. We've moved on. We now rent a huge house and it's not even glamping anymore. But yeah, I've got ideas. I've got my vision board ideas. I've got gifts, ideas for people, souvenirs that I could get while I'm out traveling. So a lot of times I like to, when I travel, buy things that I already need. And then I have those as my souvenirs and they're useful. So if I need a new belt, for example, it says I need a belt. So next time I'm traveling somewhere, then I can look and see if there's a belt that I can grab as a souvenir. The shoes, my tennis shoes that I'm wearing, those were a souvenir. Karen says, oh, honey, I have to check it each day because I would forget. It's true, actually. If you do something daily, then you don't forget to do it. But if you don't do it as often, you are more likely to forget. I actually have a reminder on my phone to check it. So yeah, I hear you. I love it. Darlene says that she missed the name of the app. It's called Clear, Clear. And I think there's a small charge for it, like a small one-time charge, but I love it. But there are also other ones. I think Google Keep, and there are several others. And Darlene says, are those your own packing lists? Yeah, they are. And I've just built them over time. So since it's right here on my phone and I have my phone with me most of the time, whenever I'm packing or traveling, then if there's something I realize needs to go on the packing list, then I can just add it really quickly. So I started with all the things that I thought that I would need. And, as I packed, I wrote things down on the list. And then each trip, I've been able to adjust my list. So sometimes I'm like, oh, on an international trip, I thought I would use the clothesline, but I don't. So I never use the clothesline. I always use the shower rod. So I took that off the list. Or for the long flight, having compression socks would be really nice for this long airplane flight to Europe. So I'd add that onto the list when I'd remember it. And, when I was on the plane and nothing else to do but wish for compression socks. So it's been an evolving list that I add to, I subtract from as things change. And it's just made it really nice because each time I pack, I can cross off things as I pack, and then I can unmark them to make them active again for the next trip. Darlene says, we go to the racetrack. I should come up with a list of what we want to bring. Yeah, I have a couple lists of, things to bring when we do family outings. And it's really helpful, just like whenever we would go back in the day to Disney and Universal all the time with Kayla, it was nice we had our list. And she learned to be able to go down the list too. I'm like, okay, Kayla, look at the list. What things are you going to grab to put together? And then I'd grab some things off the list and we could all check and make sure, did we remember the tickets? Did we remember a water bottle and hand sanitizing wipes and all these things that we normally bring? A garbage bag for our bags, because she likes to go on the water rides where you can bring your bag with you and it gets completely soaked. So those are the types of things that we just kept adding to the list of what do we really care about, and taking things off when we realized, we're not using them. So good question. Awesome. Well, now you know way too much about me. Now you know how I shave my legs and all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, always feel free, ask them in the comments, share your own thoughts in the comments. These are every Thursday. It's just meandering through whatever we think about and these mental concepts that all go into organizing, because I could teach you how to every day of the week and you would still struggle with a lot of things, because it's actually the underlying concepts that are the more important things. It's not the, how to line up your spice rack and spice jars. It's, why does it look more peaceful in your kitchen when it looks more peaceful when you face all the labels forward. This is a fact. So it's just all of these little things. You're so welcome, Darlene. And thank you too, Karen. And just a reminder, coming up, so if you are a Pathfinder, then this Saturday we have our group hike at, I believe it's at 10 a.m. But double check that on the, on your Paper Path membership and your login. But that group hike where you bring whatever your paper project is, and we'll all work side by side over Zoom, is on Saturday. And then there's a webinar on Thursday, the 19th at 6 p.m., August 19th. And I will be sharing how to basically declutter a large amount of things. So if you're downsizing, or if you have a very large decluttering project, maybe it's even, you inherited a bunch of stuff from an estate, or you have your entire basement or garage that you want to go through, you're downsizing to move into a smaller home, all of that type of large decluttering projects. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about how to get through a massive project such as downsizing. So go to the website and find the store tab. When you go to the top, just click on store and you can learn more about the webinar this Thursday. And it's the only time to catch this one live. Of course, these webinars are always like a one-time live thing. So if you're interested, make sure to register. You'll get a replay afterwards that you can watch. And then we've just got several other events coming up for the Pathfinders this month. We've got your numbers game is going to be in your private Facebook group, the campfire group. So check out the numbers game there. And if you want to make sure that you hear about these Thursday lives and any other events when they're either scheduled or about to happen, usually mostly when they're about to happen, then you can sign up for text messages. And I will text message you a little bit before something starts or when it's first scheduled, so you can add it to your calendar. All you need to do is text the phrase events 1 without a space in it. So events and the number 1, no space, to 407-214-4420, and then you can be added to the text messaging list. And I will text message you that. Oh, Darlene asks, what's the numbers game? Oh, the numbers game is fun. So with the numbers game, I give you a number each day of how many of a different type of paper to gather or sort or put away or file. So each day there's a specific number of things that we're going to try to deal with as far as papers. And it's just a fun way to get through a lot of those papers to sort or to file, all those papers that we might have that we've just not gone through. It makes it so much more fun when you're just doing these little tiny bites a day. So the numbers game is just kind of like one of those challenges, and it's a fun one. Well, all right. Thank you all so much. I absolutely love you. You always make my day. You always make me smile. So I look forward to seeing you later. I will see you next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel, 11 a.m. Eastern on Thursdays. And if you're a Pathfinder, over in the Facebook group today at 12, so in about 30 minutes, we're going to do more of a deep dive of some of the concepts that we talked about here. But we're going to talk more about how they apply to papers and kind of go a little bit more focused and deep into some of these thoughts when it comes to doing this with your papers. So if you're a Pathfinder, I will see you in 30 minutes over in the Paper Paths Campfire group on Facebook, and we will be live there. And there you go. Darlene, I put the text code on the screen for you. So events 1 to 407-214-4420. And once this video is done, you can also kind of rewind it and pause it on this if you need. Thank you, Pamela. Well, I love you all so, so much. Have a wonderful day, beautiful. You're doing great things. I love seeing all that you're doing in the challenge. Make sure right now we've got the challenge still going on in the Home Organizing Challenges group. So if you're not doing the Declutter Challenge, pop over there, go to the guide section. You can see all of the past tasks, and you can catch up on some of them. It's super easy. It's super fun, and post your progress. You're so welcome, Lynn. Have a great day too. Bye. I love you.